Okay, so it says we're live, which is hopefully the case. So I'm going to introduce this live stream and us. So, hey, everybody out there, if you're hearing us, let us know in the chat so we can confirm our tech is working, because Brigitte and I mainly live stream during crowdfunding. So we're totally inexperienced and we're trying to have fun and actually make media that you can see.
Oh my gosh, I see. Alive.
Yes, great. Thank you, Dustin. Oh my God. All right. So let's get this show on the road. I'm Nat Mesnard. This is Brigitte Winter, and we are here to talk about Tales from the Cryptids. Woo, it's going so well already. How are you doing tonight, Brigitte?
It is going well, though. We funded today. Everybody made it happen. It's really exciting.
Yay. I know. It's like, I hate to tie my self-esteem to like a monetary value, but like it is so nice to see when you hit that number.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So as of today,
it's going to be an actual book.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And like generally I would say in scripted games, we're always like, we will find a way to do our projects, but it's also nice when in the crowdfunding world, we hit our number, we know we can do it. And with this particular project, I'm really excited because it's our first anthology. So we wanted to do our first live stream of the campaign by just chatting a little bit about it. So, obviously if you're watching this in BackerKit, you can just scroll and look at the campaign. And the point of this video is so you can meet us, like we're the people making it. But Brigitte, what should we tell people watching this about Tales from the Cryptids that might add a little storytelling or focus them on parts of this anthology campaign that are particularly cool?
Yeah, well, as you said, this is Scripted Games' very first anthology. We started in 2023. Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our first crowdfunding campaign in 2023 with Psychic Trash Detectives, and we have since then been focused on producing weird, queer games, like weird, interesting games. But this is the very first time that we are doing a project where we're inviting a whole bunch of other creators to participate. So it's interesting because number one, it is actually, as Scripted Games, right? We're Cryptid with an S. This is the very first book that we're making that has cryptids in it. So this is going to be like our cryptid book.
Yes.
And it's the first time that we're inviting a whole bunch of other creators to participate. So we'll have game designers, fiction writers, poets, and all kinds of other folks who are just making weird ephemera contribute to this anthology. And it is going to be stories and games that are from the perspectives of cryptids. So I think that's sort of a twist on the theme. So there are lots of stories and games that are about cryptid hunting, cryptid investigation. And this is actually going to be a book where the games and the stories are from the perspective of the cryptids. And so I'm really excited about that too. How about you? What are you excited about with this project?
I'm really excited to get to work with other people too. I think a lot of TTRPG presses start out for people to publish their own games. And we started out that way as well. And I loved doing that. And I have loved doing that and plan to continue doing it. But there's something really exciting about publishing someone else's game because it connects us with all of the amazing relationships that come from editing and publishing, which I'm familiar with from the world of fiction writing and loved when I was an editor of literary magazines, like way back in the day. It was such a fun way to know a person through like kind of honoring their work and helping it become like more of itself is kind of like what you do when you edit. And like getting to have that relationship with people who like both are people like our current contributors who I am like, this person is iconic and legendary and I'm obsessed with them and their work. And then also doing that for people who are new and maybe people we can discover. Like those are so fun. And I'm really excited that we get to do that with this.
Yeah, it's over the past couple of years, we've been building community, and it's been really fun to connect with so many different game designers and writers. And we finally now have an opportunity to invite those folks to play with us, which is really fun.
Yay. Okay, wait, before we go on, so I wanted to put this because we can put people's thing in the chat on the screen. And yay, it's Devin. Hey, Devin, thank you so much for joining this. You're the best. Yay. Oh my gosh. Like, so obviously, like a supporter from the beginning, and it's magical to see that you're still with us. And I hope we get to see you at some point again. We missed you at PAX Unplugged this year.
Oh my gosh, I also see in the chat someone who played and bought Psychic Trash Detectives at PAX Unplugged, which is really fun.
Yes.
I love that con.
Oh my gosh. I know. Thank you so much. I was just thinking about what you said earlier about cryptids, because with Psychic Trash Detectives, we always are kind of showing possums and raccoons and pigeons. And in a way, I think trash animals are cryptids. Um, because like they're in the cracks of a city is how I imagine them. And there's something about cryptids that's about like being in the cracks of society or like in liminal spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to if you would talk a little more about like just like the theme of the anthology around this idea of like liminality and like what a cryptid is beyond just Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely are going to welcome stories that are about the cryptids that we know and love. Mothman is in our logo. Bigfoot, Nessie, right? We definitely want stories about those. But I think, as you're saying, I am very interested in liminality. I think as a queer person and a queer creator and somebody who really loves collaborating and building community with people who have carved out spaces for themselves, in those cracks, I'm really interested to see some new takes on cryptids, right? Like, kind of what if an entire town is a cryptid? What if a song is a cryptid? Just kind of thinking a little bit more expansively about what that could be, and sort of telling stories from the margins, and perspectives on the everyday that are maybe new to us, new ways to look at the world.
Yeah, I really love that. I remember when we were talking about this, I connected it with a novel I read called The Sasquatch Hunter's Almanac, which is a really kind of magical book by Sharma Shields, where the focus is on imagining like a cryptid as a family member. So there's this like weird situation where the main character's mother basically has a relationship with Sasquatch and sort of runs away to be with him in the woods. And then it's a novel of just like the kind of deep processing that like comes from that being a family truth, which is interesting because it's a different kind of intimacy with a liminal figure. And I feel like then we were like, let's step further in that direction and just like write about being them and living as them and looking out from the eyes of a cryptid. I think there's something that's supposed to be kind of mysterious and unknowable about cryptids, but then it's also like looking out from the eyes of like a queer identity. I don't think actually removes mystery. In fact, in different deep ways, it heightens it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, I'm thinking about we're already starting to hear from the creators that we tapped to be some of the original contributors to this book. Like hearing what they plan to create. We have one story already that I'm thinking of right now, by Shen Tao, who's a really incredible novelist, just debuted with a book called The Poet Empress, which I highly recommend. Really beautiful fantasy. But she already wrote and contributed a story that is about a person who knows deep down that she is actually an eel and belongs in the sea. And it's about her trying so hard to fit in and to meet the expectations of her family and the world, but just feeling that like agonizing call to return to the sea and wanting so badly, for her eel father to bring her home. And it's a really gorgeous, heartrending story that I'm really excited to share with everybody. And absolutely, you know, is very intimate and very much from the perspective of that experience of feeling like you belong in multiple places, and are sort of stuck in this place of liminality.
Yeah, you know, about that, I think there is some fiction that really works as inspiration for a TTRPG.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like part of what we're doing with the fiction we're curating is bringing pieces that have that life to them, that sense of play, and putting them in context with actual games and showing how that sensibility translates between works of fiction and then like works of game. I've been thinking recently myself about where to take inspiration for new projects and really honing in on that sensibility. And I think that story is a perfect example of like, it immediately gets me thinking of like, what is the game that happens in that world? Or like, how does that sensibility of like knowing deep down that you're an eel, like translate into like a TTRPG context, even just by like, by feeling, right? Like,
what a perfect segue into talking a little bit more about games and game design. And one of the things that I'm actually really excited about with this campaign is that we are offering a class as an add-on, and it's at some of the reward levels as well that Nat, you are teaching. We're branching into education, right? Nat has been an educator for ever and ever and ever in the game space, and I'm really excited for you to bring that to scripted games. So tell us a little bit more about this class, this Make Short Games class that you are going to be teaching following this campaign.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm really excited about this. It's new this year. I was nervous about doing this for years. I used to teach online. And in fact, Brigitte and I met in a class I taught way back when. It was a continuing ed class with many people in it who are accomplished writers and game designers in their own right. Our friend Devin in the chat was also a member of one of those classes, as well as Dustin, who's also joining us. And the platform that I taught on went out of business. And then I've thought about it for years of like how I might be able to like bring that back. So it is happening this year. And I'm teaching this class called Make Short Games. It's a 2.5-hour workshop. It's on Sunday, March 29th. And the details are in the campaign, but the focus will be on designing super short TTRPGs. So in my classes, we always start by looking at examples because I love to curate work. It's one of my favorite just like hobbies. And it's part of what I like about scholarship is to try to put interesting work in juxtaposition and like pull out the through line. So we're going to look at some short games. We'll look at Lasers and Feelings if you're familiar with that. And then we'll look at the level 1 anthology, which is an anthology of short games, and some business card games to kind of contend with the idea of like, how do you write a super short TTRPG that fits on a business card or a piece of paper or within 1,000 words? Honey Heist is a great example. Yeah, we've got some good commentary going here, right? Like there's some really amazing classics that are super simple and super short and do so much to make us play. So I want to just be in conversation with folks about that and then also make space in that community for working on something to submit to this anthology. So we'll talk about short games, we'll play storm a little bit and make space for people at all levels to find their way towards a short TTRPG project.
And you can, you know, as we said, as part of the campaign, this is something you can add on. And so you get a discount on enrollment in the class. But you also can just go to our website and sign up for the class right now if you want to. It is live and it's available. So you don't have to back the book in order to join the class, but we'd love you to. And if you intend to submit when we do our open call this spring for additional games and poems and stories to include in the book, I think you probably have a leg up if you take Nat's class and it's right in the middle of when those submissions are happening, right?
Yes, that's definitely the case. And like, I mean, that is the truth because we are editing it and I want to make your work beautiful so that we can publish you. Like that's my motivation. And that is like our motivation as publishers is to make space for as many creators as we can and to be champions of new and innovative game design work and fiction that connects with our sensibility of playfulness and immersion and I don't know, the kind of queerness where you feel like you might be an eel.
It's our new tagline.
Exactly.
Both this book and like maybe I'm going to put it on my resume. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to transition though, because there's another cool thing we're doing in this project, which is us being ridiculous. And I wanted to ask you to talk about it.
Oh, great.
So we were like, we want to do like a weird little side project attached to this that's like an add-on or another little publication. So we have this zine that you can get called The Real Cryptids of Baltimore. And I would love for you to tell people about that.
Okay, so The Real Cryptids of Baltimore, this is an add-on and is part of some of the reward levels for this campaign. It is a zine that we are going to make that is going to include true stories about cryptids that we are going to source from Baltimore residents and people in Maryland. We're going to set up an anonymous tip line and we're going to like post it all around the city. And ask people to call in, to email, to tell us their true stories of experiences of the supernatural broadly in the Baltimore area. And we're going to put together this completely crazy zine that's going to capture all of those stories.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. It is inspired actually on my side by a similar zine that one of the other members of Scryptid Games, the most elusive Scryptid, my partner Pat, was actually published in a similar zine called Street Leather, which was a rat zine that some folks living in our neighborhood in the East Village published, very much like in tune to our like trash animal era. And we were thinking, let's make something like that about cryptids that's also hyperlocal and connected with the land and the community and the people in Baltimore, which is, of course, where Brigitte is based.
So yeah, start if you're in the Baltimore area, start thinking about your true stories of the supernatural, so you can send them to our anonymous line.
Yes, and don't be too creepy, folks. But like, if you look around, you might see a sign that just invites you to disclose your cryptid experiences. So,
oh, please be creepy.
Okay. Creepiness is allowed.
Creepiness is encouraged.
We also have this comment from Scryptid Games saying I'm kind of a big deal in the world of rat fiction. So I also like, speaking of something that came up in the comments earlier, I wanted to bring this back. Dustin had this comment that says everything that They Might Be Giants did is a cryptid. And okay, you know what this actually reminded me of that I think that we should try to do following this campaign is, you know how there was like the whole thing where it's like people went through defining what brat is? And there was like lists of things that are brat and not brat.
Uh-huh.
I think we should do that, but cryptid.
I mean, we can start it in the chat right now. Please tell us, everyone.
What's cryptid?
Cryptid. I'm especially interested in what is not cryptid, because we're thinking so expansively about what is cryptid. So, like, what is not cryptid? Just regular.
I'm so here for this. Yes, we're going to create like a viral sensibility about defining cryptid.
What is not a cryptid?
Oh my God. Is there anything else we wanted to share? We're going to be doing some other live streams, so I don't want to talk about too much in this one, and we're trying to keep these short because I will tell you, I do not watch it when it's an hour. Oh my gosh, so real. Ice is not cryptid.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to be back in the next couple of these. We're going to be seeing Dustin talking to Jordan Dube of Goose Poop Games. We're going to have a live stream with Will Roth from Creature Publishing and Brigitte talking about a really cool add-on that we have that's also an anthology of some pretty amazing body autonomy horror. And then what's our other one? I think we have one more.
Wait, the designer one, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're going to be talking to some Zootopia designers. That's my
other
I'm
cool
really excited.
You could back.
I know. Yeah, we have some really cool designers coming on. We have Sharang Biswas, who he's doing an amazing game for this book.
He's also going to be in our book. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah. So we're getting a game about cryptids from Sharang, and I haven't gotten to see the text of it yet, but I know it's a solo game that involves actually walking around in a museum.
Yes, it is a solo museum LARP.
100%. Solo museum LARP. Let's go. I'm so excited. I love Sharang. And then we have Dylan Appelian, who is also part of a crowdfunding project live right now on Zootopia that More Blueberries is crowdfunding called All's Fair. It's a co-crowdfunding project with another zine. So you can see like both of the zines in the image when you look on the Backer Kid Zootopia page. But Dylan's work is really cool. We got to know each other recently because we're both based in New York. And so we're just going to talk about game design together. It's going to be really fun.
That's so great. Yay. I can't wait for all of these.
Yeah. But before we go, is there what's one weird trick about this campaign? I don't know. What's your final comment?
I don't know what a weird trick is about this campaign. I'm really enjoying what's happening in the comments right now. It's very distracting. Now I feel like I fully know what a cryptid is and what is not a cryptid. But the thing that I did want to emphasize, because we're so early in the campaign, is that now that it's funded, the more money we raise, the more stuff is going to be in this book. So we're working toward our next stretch goal, which is when we hit $10,000, we're going to add 20 more pages. And because these are short games and short stories and poetry, that's a lot more content. And what we want is to say yes to as many people as possible who submit great stuff this spring. And we're also committed to paying people and paying people well for their work. We believe in artists. We believe in compensating artists fairly and like filling this book with stuff created by real humans. And so like we're compensating 10 cents a word, which is a pro rate for writing. And that means we've got to raise a bunch of money now to make sure that we can pay everybody. So the more money we raise moving forward, the more stuff we're going to add to the book, the cooler the book is going to look, the more art we're going to add to the book. And it's all going to go to people, to artists. So really hope that you help spread the word and like help us make this book as big as possible, because we want to say yes to all of you when you send us games and stories and poems.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I'll add to that is not everybody can back because you don't have the financial means to support the project. And just like in the world we're living in right now, I never want to like put pressure on people. So it's like just being part of our community in whatever way makes sense for you means a lot to me. Sharing the campaign on social media is great because it helps us get the word out. Just hanging out with us in the chat, like some of the people are right now, is so nice. Like we really love it. Also, I should say that we do, on that note, have a Discord for folks who love scripted games, and that's another place that you can hang out with us. So if you like what we work on and you're new to the world of scripted games, you can just head to scriptedgames.com, and there's a link there to join our Discord, get on social with us, and just like, I don't know, like hang out and be weird liminal beings.
Yeah, we're most active, I think, on Instagram and Blue Sky. So if those are places that you like to chill, say hi to us there.
Yeah.
Lord.
All right. Before we log off, let's just give people some snaps for their definitions of what's cryptid. So body
autonomy is really different from bodily autonomy. Body autonomy is definitely cryptid.
Oh my gosh. We have zines or OG cryptid, which is so real. A zine is definitely a cryptid. And then from Devin, Horde of Stretch Goals is extremely cryptid. Also, apparently there was a thing earlier that says, I got to connect you to a new play featuring the squonk. I'm so on board for whatever that
I could
is.
talk for like an hour about the squonk, so it's probably good that we that we're ending squonk. I love squonk.
I know. We have the squonk patch, which is like, we got amazing art that's from the cover of the squonk. And then Dustin created hand lettering of the word feelings because we were just like, that's the energy. And like, I'm feeling that so deeply right now. So like, if there is a squonk play, I will travel to go see it. Give us the details. We want to be there.
Please.
All right. We're right at the time that I wanted to do, which is about 25 minutes. Brigitte, is there anything we should end with before I click the end stream button?
Oh my gosh, you just said that a minute ago. I'm out of things, Nat. Do you have a thing?
All right. No. Back again, if you haven't, follow us. Yeah. Be involved, and we'll be back with more live streams. I don't remember when the next one is, but the schedule is actually on our backer kit, so you can check that.
Thanks for being so cryptid with us.
Exactly. Thanks for being cryptid with us. Thanks for chatting with us in the chat. That actually made this really fun. And we'll see you guys soon.